Hey, what's up? It's Laura. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back. If you're not, today I'm doing a massive, long overdue book haul, and I've got a shit ton of books to talk about, so let's get started. So I have 4 categories of books that I am getting rid of. All of these books I've had for far too long, and I'm just whatever about them, so goodbye. The 4 categories that I've got going on, I have books that I have read and didn't like, books that I started, read a couple chapters of, put it down, never picked it back up. I have books that I never even bothered touching, ever. And finally I have like a small pile of manga books. Some I've read, some I haven't. So I'll start with the books that I have read, starting with The Dead Poet Society by N.H. Kleinbaum. I've been meaning to watch this movie for literally years and I haven't gotten around to it, so I was like, oh, here's the book, let's see if it's any good. It wasn't. Next up is Marley and Me by John Grogan. I don't need to explain why I'm getting rid of this. It's fine. Everything's fine. Rainbow Road by Alex Sanchez. I loved this series when I was younger. I thought it was really fun, but I don't read YA contemporary anymore, so goodbye. The God Box, also by Alex Sanchez. Same reason. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I liked this when I read it, but then I just promptly forgot about it and never continued with this series. I've just given up on ever thinking that I'll read this series. I'm not going to. I don't care for it. Goodbye. In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I read this book. I just thought it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I'm not a huge fan of her writing style, so I probably won't continue with her books. I also just don't like thrillers. I was trying to get into thrillers, that's why I picked this one up, but they're just not for me. I don't like them, so au revoir. The Twilight Wife by A.J. Banner, same thing, don't like thrillers that much. This one was fine, but it was really predictable. Like, I found that even the plot twist was not a plot twist at all. It was... Anyways. The Fire Sermon by Francesca Haig. This was horrible. Straight up, it was bad. This was a bad book. I don't know why I finished it. I should have just DNF'd it, but I read it in like a day and a half, and even like halfway through the book I was like, I am never going to finish this series. It was bad. It was bad. That's all. That Summer by Sarah Dessen. Don't like YA contemporary anymore. Used to love this book. I don't anymore. So, peace. Keeping You a Secret by Julie Ann Peters. It's contemporary, it's YA. Loved it when I was younger. Don't anymore. Blackhearts by Nicole Castroman. This is easily one of the worst books that I've ever read in my entire life. I might keep this book for now just to have it to do a hate video on it one day. It was horrible. It was actually just like, there was nothing good about it. I think I gave it 1 star. I hated it. Get out of my life. I Heart You, You Haunt Me by Lisa Schroeder. I loved this book when I was younger. I've read it probably like 6 times. But I am at a point where I'm never going to read it again. I will never pick it up. So hopefully somebody else can pick this up at my used bookstore and they can fall in love with it as well. It's also contemporary, so again, don't care for it anymore. And last book for this pile is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I of course love this book. I love this series, but I had the other books in hardcover and I found this copy in hardcover as well, so I don't need the paperback version anymore. Next pile of books is the ones that I have started. I read a few chapters of and then put them down. I was like, I'll pick it back up later. I'm just not in the mood for it. And then years passed and here we are. Still haven't read them. So they are leaving because I realized that I'm never going to pick them back up. I put them down for a reason. First is Long Lankin by Lindsay Barclough. I just found this to be kind of boring, to be honest. I was hoping that it was just like a mood thing. I've picked it up probably 3 times in total and just never got into it, so I'm never going to. Shah of Shahs, which was written by an author whose name I definitely can't pronounce, so I'm just not going to attempt to. I had to read this for a class in university. I read maybe a third of it and SparkNotes the rest. Beastly by Alex Flynn. Movie was okay. The book, the bits that I've read were horrible. Just straight up, this was bad. Angel Fall by Susan E. I've heard great things about this one, but every time that I would try to pick it up, I just didn't vibe with the writing style. So, sorry. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I've tried this one so many times. I loved the movie, but A, I don't like thrillers, and B, the writing style was weird. So, not my thing. I especially don't like thrillers that involve children. It just, no. Nope. No. The Walled City by Ryan Grouden. I tried this book. I read the first few chapters, and it was implied that they were using children as prostitutes, and I really, you know what? I don't fuck with that. So I put this down. Thought that I might pick it back up again one day, and I just know that I won't. Don't want to read about that. Goodbye. Forever. The Shack by Paul Young. I got this book for a gift for Christmas. It's very religious. I am not, so it just wasn't my thing. If You Go Down to the Woods by Seth C. Adams. I picked this up for like $5 at a bookstore one day, thought it sounded good, and then discovered that I don't really like thrillers. So I've never, I read the first little bit of it, and it just, I don't like thrillers. A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. I wanted to love this book so badly, especially because her dragon book is coming out shortly. I wanted to love it. I've tried it so many times and I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. I liked the writing style. I think it was just, I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't vibe with it. Perfect Ruin by Lauren DeStefano. I got this as an ARC from a Goodreads giveaway back in 2013. I read about half of it. I hated it. And I told myself that I would read it one day, and I'm just, it's been 7 years. So, yeah. Fellside by M.R. Carey. I got like a solid chunk of the way through. I think I was around page 250, something like that. I got like pretty far into it. I would have loved this book if it was about 200 pages shorter, I think. But I was close to the halfway mark and I was just so bored. So I put it down, and because I'd gotten so far into it, I hoped that I would pick it back up one day. But that was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I haven't picked it back up. So it's going. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Movie was good. Enjoyed that, but it's a thriller. Don't care for thrillers. And the writing style was just not for me. I read the first couple chapters and I was just like pulling my hair out in frustration at the way that things were written down. I'm just like, no. Can't do it. Can't deal with it. Next up is books that I never even picked up. Haven't even read a single word of them, and I've owned them for way too long. So it's time to say goodbye to these ones, starting with A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. I do still want to read the series, but I have the first book in this like nicer edition, and I hate these like gigantic mass market paperbacks. So if I do ever actually end up reading the series, I would prefer to get better copies of it that aren't like 1,000 pages long. So The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This book, I'm not really sure why I picked it up. It's not really something that I would normally read, and it still isn't something that I would normally read or like ever want to pick up. So Indelible by Dawn Metcalf. I've seen some good reviews on Goodreads, but it just doesn't interest me. I think I picked it up because I saw other people reading it and I wanted to be part of the in crowd. But I'm never going to read it. The Wicked Lovely by Melissa Marr. Same thing. I saw people reading it. I thought the cover was nice. I read good reviews. Bought it knowing nothing about it, and I will never read this. The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I think I bought this shortly after the hype died down, so I found it for like $2 at a used bookstore. I was like, well, it was really popular, so maybe I'll like it. It had a lot of hype around it, so I'll give it a shot. Never did. The Silent Wife by A.S.A. Harrison. Thriller. Never gonna pick it up. Prophecy of the Sisters by Michelle Zink. I don't even know what this book is about. It's been on my shelf for I don't even know how long, and I've never even thought about picking it up. So it's time for it to go. The Story of Our Calendar by Keith G. Irwin. This, I think, is a nonfiction book about calendars. Why do I have this? There's this random tiny little bookstore in downtown Toronto that they have this machine where you put in like a quarter and it spits out like some random old used book. It's basically the ones that they haven't been able to sell in like 20 years. So they just put it in this machine for like a touristy thing, and this is what I got out of it. So I'm never gonna read this. The Plowman by Kim Zupin. It's a thriller. That's it. Endgame by James Frey. I found this one for like $4 at a used bookstore. I knew nothing about it. I'd never heard of it, but the back sounded pretty good, so I just picked it up on a whim, and I have never thought about it since then. So maybe somebody else will love it. Genghis, Lord of the Bow by Con Igulden. Funny story for this one. I went to the bookstore when I was a kid with my mom, and she was like, pick out a book, you know, whatever you want. So I was looking around the bookstore and I was like, I want to try something serious, because I'm like too old for all these kids books, so I'm gonna pick an adult book. And I picked this one up because I thought I would look smart if I had it on my desk at school. However, old child reading a book about Genghis Khan, I thought it would look smart, so I picked it up, got home, opened up the back cover, and learned that this is book 2. This is book 2 in a series. And I've had this book for so many years that I can't even remember, and I have never found the will to find book 1. So which means I'll never read this one either. So goodbye. My last pile of books that I'm unhauling is just a bunch of like random manga that I've had for years. I don't really read manga anymore, so I have no need to keep these. Most of them I haven't read. I've read a couple of them, but like most of them I haven't read and I never will. So I have a couple of the Sword Art Online books. I don't even know what these are. I've got Progressive, 2 of those ones. Oh, 3 of those ones. And one for Fairy Dance. I loved the anime for this one, but I don't care enough about the story to read the manga as well. I have 2 copies of Attack on Titan No Regrets Volume 1 for some reason. I don't know why I have 2. One of them must have been a gift, I guess, but whatever. I have read this one. I did like it, but I don't care about Attack on Titan anymore, so getting rid of it. And I'm also getting rid of Volume 2 of Attack on Titan Before the Fall. I have Volume 1 of Noragami, Volume 3 of Madoka Magica. Not sure where Volume 1 and 2 went, but you know, whatever. And finally, the last book in my giant unhaul pile is Volume 1 of Black Cat. So that's it. That's all of them. I did mean to get rid of these books before I moved. I like went through my bookshelf probably about 2 months ago now and put all of these into a box, and I was going to get rid of them. My goal was before I moved, that way I wasn't moving with 47 extra books that I had to, but that didn't happen. So I still have them. If I did unhaul one of your favorites, please don't come for me. We all have different reading tastes, and that is okay. It's nothing personal. It just wasn't for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!